this is Bent. Xavier's dad here. Excited to meet you tomorrow.
Hey, Bent. I'm Sarah. Nice to meet you too. Was hoping to chat in person, but this works.
Wasn't expecting your call, so thanks for reaching out. Xavier said a lot about you.
Yeah, I got some questions for you.
Sure. Shoot. I'll do my best to answer.
First off, what's the deal? Why are you into my son?
You want to know what I like about Xavier?
And it's not about the family fortune, right? It's not because he's set to run the business. I want to be sure you're not just into him for his family and future status.
Got it. No, it's not like that at all. Actually, I only found out about Xavier's business thing recently, but it doesn't change how I feel about him. So no worries.
I just worry about people wanting in for the money, you know? We've got a lot, and some might just be after that power.
I get it. It's a concern. But marrying for money isn't my thing. I hope my words prove that to you.
We'll see, young lady.
I understand. Hopefully, meeting in person tomorrow will ease some concerns. Then, you can decide.
Tomorrow's already set. Just make sure you don't let us down. You and my son won't marry without my approval. Hope that's clear.
Absolutely. No ulterior motives here. You've got nothing to worry about. You'll see tomorrow. A few minutes later.
So, tomorrow's the big day to meet your future in-laws, right? How are you feeling? Nervous? Excited? Or both?
Hey, Brian, thanks for always checking in. Means a lot.
Sounds like someone might be a bit nervous, huh?
Just had a chat with Xavier's dad. Had no idea they'd take this so seriously.
Well, is their son getting married? Or do you mean they're serious in a different way?
I know they run a business, but it feels more like a job interview than just meeting my future in-laws. I understand where they're coming from, but I wish his dad was a bit less intense about all of this.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I checked them out a bit. They're pretty new to having money, so they're likely extra cautious about who they let in.
Oh, don't start justifying things for them now. It's adding more pressure for me.
I'm sorry, but it seems like there's already some pressure on you. Do you think they'll ask about your family? I hope once they know your dad, it solves everything.
I hope so too, but more than that, I want them to like me for who I am. I don't want to depend on my dad for everything, especially who I can marry.
I get it, but for folks like Xavier's dad, these things might be as much business as they are personal.
You're probably right, to be honest.
Let me know if anything happens. Just remember, you've got people in your corner who want to support you.
Thanks, Brian. That's really nice to hear. Just keep your fingers crossed that everything goes well for me tomorrow. The next day. Ryan, are you there? Please? Please, I need your help right now.
Wow, Sarah, is everything okay? Can you talk on the phone right now? What's the matter?
I'm on my way to the hospital right now. I want you to meet me there, and I want you to represent me as my lawyer.
Wait, what? Are you serious? Okay, I'll head your way. Please wait for me.
Please, thanks to you. I'll send you the address for the hospital and my room number soon.
Okay, I will be there in 30 minutes.
A moment later.
Hey, Sarah, how are you doing?
Brian, I don't know where to start. Something happened and I don't know how to handle it.
I'm here for you, Sarah. What's going on?
It's about Xavier's dad. We had a disagreement and things escalated. He actually hit me.
Oh my God, Sarah, I'm so sorry. That's absolutely not okay. Are you hurt?
Physically, I'll be fine, but it's the emotional toll that's really getting to me.
I can't believe he would do something like that. Have you talked to Xavier about it?
Not yet. I'm afraid it will make things worse between them. And I don't want to come between, father and son.
Sarah, you need to prioritize your safety and well-being. No one should ever put their hands on you. Xavier needs to know what happened.
I just don't want to cause more problems. What if he doesn't believe me or thinks I'm exaggerating?
You have every right to speak up. If Xavier cares about you, he'll listen. Violence is never okay, and you shouldn't have to bear it silently. Maybe you could talk to him calmly. Let him know how much it hurt you.
I guess you're right. I just don't want to break up their family.
You're not breaking up anything. You're standing up for yourself. Xavier needs to understand the gravity of what happened. Let's figure out a way to talk to him about it together.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate your support.
I just want things to get better. They will, Sarah. You deserve to be treated with respect and love. Let's take it step by step, and I'll be here for you through it all.
I know you're right, Brian. I just never thought I'd find myself in a situation like this. It's hard to wrap my head around it.
It's completely understandable to feel that way, Sarah. No one expects or deserves to go through something like this. Remember, you're not alone in this. We'll navigate through it together.
I'll try to find the right time to talk to Xavier. I just hope he understands.
You're strong, Sarah. Don't forget that. And if things get too overwhelming, consider seeking support from professionals who can help guide you through this process.
Thanks, Brian. I guess I just needed someone to talk to. I'll keep you posted on how...
Of course, anytime. And remember, your safety and well-being come first. Don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything at all.
I will, Brian. Thanks for being such a good friend.
You're always welcome.
A few hours later.
I knew it. I knew that you were poor this whole time, and yet you had the nerve to try and get near my son. Just who do you think you are? Did you really think I would let you get into this family?
Do you have any idea what you've just done?
What are you talking about?
You realize you assaulted me, right? You invited me as your son's girlfriend, then hit me in the face.
What else was I supposed to do when I found out you were raised by a single father? Did you think I wouldn't react? Did you think I'd just hand over Xavier? No, I knew I had to break up your marriage right then.
I can't believe it. I've never seen anyone act out like you did. If you didn't want Xavier and me to get married, you could have said something. You didn't need to hit me.
Why do you think you deserve a say in this? You're nobody trying to escape poverty by marrying into money. I know you were only with my son because of his family. Did you think I wouldn't realize that?
If you don't like me, that's fine. And if you don't want me to marry your son, that's fine too.
And what was your dad thinking? Is he a bit crazy too?
Why are you talking?
Shouldn't he have tried to talk you out of this? You'd think at least your dad would know his place.
Why would my father try to talk me out of marrying your son?
If your dad couldn't even do the bare minimum of talking sense to his daughter, I'm starting to see just how stupid both of you are.
So punching me in the face wasn't enough? You're still going to run your mouth and talk bad about my father? I'm sorry, but that just makes me angry.
Do you think I care about how some poor nobody feels? I'm rich, run my own business. Annoying people like you is part of my job.
I'm sure we live in completely different worlds, and I guess that led you to act in ways that only make sense to you. But you'll regret this, Bent. You cannot imagine the worst consequence that you have to earn for this rude action.
What can some girl raised by a poor single father do to me? I already hit you in the face, so why don't you just leave?
Maybe you don't know this, but my father is an important real estate mogul.
Yeah, right, in your dreams.
You don't have to believe me if you don't want to, but I've already told my dad all about what happened between us. Your company doesn't have much longer now.
Oh, really? You're still trying to pretend I believe this lie of yours? You and your father are no business people who can affect me.
And what do you have against people raised by single parents? My mother died when I was little, and my dad poured his heart into raising me right. In fact, I think he's a much better man than you could ever hope to be.
What's that supposed to mean?
You might think I'm poor just because I only had one parent, but my father started his own business, watched it grow, and is now one of the most powerful real estate figures in the state. Surely you've heard of Carl Reeves, right? Well, he's my father, and if I'm not mistaken, one of your most important clients.
Enough already. This joke wasn't funny the first time, and now I'm getting sick of it. You and Carl Reeves are not related, and it astounds me that you think I would fall for that. How did you even know we were business partners?
What would I gain from lying to you about this? I've already agreed to break up with your son when I thought we would be getting married.
So, you're telling the truth about all this.
That's right, and my father is furious with you. That's why he's selling all the stock of your company that he owns. You're about to face bankruptcy, and it's all your fault. This is what you get for putting people down when you know nothing about them. You don't know anything about how my dad raised me?
Wait, hold on a minute. Are you serious about all this? Are you really Carl's daughter?
And why is that so hard to believe? You need to get over yourself and learn not to judge based on appearance. I was close to marrying your son, and it would have brought our families closer. But now, none of that is happening. My father easily canceled contracts with a tiny company like yours. He has 1,000 others eager to take your place. I told you not to worry about me being after your family's money, and now you know why? My family always had way more money than yours ever did.
Wait, no, this can't be happening. If what you're telling me is true, I'm so sorry for the way I acted. It's clear now that this was all just one big misunderstanding. I hope you can forgive me.
Just shut up. It's way too late for any of that now. You brought all of this on yourself, and there's no way out of it. I told you I would make you pay for this.
Wait, no, please. It was just an honest mistake, really. I had no idea that there were single parents who were rich too. I should have looked more into you. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm glad you didn't. Thanks to that, I know exactly the kind of person you are, and I'm glad I got out when I did.
In fact, if you knew who I really was, you probably would have been eager to have my son marry you so that you could have my family's money. But please, you have to forgive me. I'll even let you marry Xavier.
Do you really think that's what I want now?
What do you mean?
I mean that I don't want to marry your son more than I want to keep talking to you. Besides, the engagement has already been called off. If you think anyone, including me, is going to want to stay with the man whose father punched me in the face, you've got another thing coming. Maybe next time you should do a little homework before you act out like that. But that's all I really have to say to you now.
Please, no. I made a mistake and I'm really sorry for it. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. Can't we just go back to the way things were?
That's not going to happen. I am never going to give Xavier a second chance again. I already have a close friend who's a lawyer looking into suing you for assaulting me.
Wait, no, you can't be serious.
Oh, I am. And soon your company and your life will both come crumbling down around you.
But you can't do all of this. Please, you have to forgive me. I'm begging you here.
I'm telling you, it's way too late for any of this. You hit me in the face and sent me to the hospital. I'm here getting looked at right now, in fact.
But I didn't even hit you that hard. You're just over-exaggerating.
What the hell are you saying? We'll see who's over-exaggerating in court, won't we? But I'm sure any jury is just so eager to pardon a man who punched a lady in the face. You're through, you pathetic pig. Even Xavier tried coming to me to apologize and said that he never wanted to talk to you again.
Wait, why would he say something like that? Doesn't he know I was just trying to protect the family?
To him, you were doing nothing but finding excuses for your own violent behavior.
But then I'll have nothing. No business, no money, no family. What am I supposed to do?
You did this to yourself, Bent. You hit me in the face to try and prove a point, but you were never going to get away with this. Even if I wasn't rich, thanks to my dad, you're still not above the law, and you can't just assault people for being poor.
But that doesn't mean you have to sue me. I learned my lesson, and it'll never, ever, ever happen again. Isn't that enough for you?
I'm afraid it won't be enough until I see everything that made you into the person who thought you could treat other people like that stripped away from you. You need to remember what it's like to be one of the common people, and I will see that that happens. See you in court, Bent. I will make everything the worst to you.
I know, and I can't apologize enough for my actions. I was completely out of line, and I take full responsibility for what I did.
Responsibility? That's not going to undo what happened.
I understand that, and I can't change the past, but I want you to know that I am truly sorry. I never meant for things to escalate like they did.
Why don't you think about the result before you do that?
I was dealing with a lot of stress, but that's no excuse for my behavior. I get it. I messed up big time, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make things right. I've been thinking a lot about the consequences of my actions, and I don't want this to turn into a legal battle.
Why should I believe you now?
I know trust is something I need to earn back, and I'm willing to prove that I'm taking this seriously. I'm open to seeking counseling or anger management to address my issues. I'm committed to making positive changes in my life.
It's not that simple.
I understand it won't be easy to forgive or forget, but if you could find it in yourself to give me a chance to make amends outside of court, I promise I will do everything in my power to show you that I am genuinely sorry and committed to change.
No, I don't believe in you. I will never change my mind. See you in court, Bent? After that, in the end, Sarah's father only needed to make a couple of phone calls, and the fate of Bent's company was sealed. It had declared bankruptcy within the week with no chance of recovery. Bent was left by his wife, and Xavier was still refusing to talk to him. When Bent had his day in court, he had it all alone. After the trial was done, my dad bought Bent's defunct business, breathing new life into it and saving it from closing down. My dad installed himself as the head of the company as his own way of getting back at Bent. Although it's fair to say that Bent brought all of this upon himself and has no one to blame but himself.
Hi, Minnie. Sorry for the suddenness. I need to discuss something important with you. Are you free now?
John, of course. What's wrong?
It's about Dad. I'm afraid he's been diagnosed with dementia recently.
What? Are you serious? Dad can't have dementia. He's only in his mid-60s. That's just not possible.
Well, he's not exactly a spring chicken anymore either.
I know, but I can't imagine Dad having dementia. I talked to him on the phone recently, and he seemed perfectly fine. In fact, I was the one who was more forgetful during our conversation.
Don't worry, he hasn't lost his marbles completely. He's still the same Dad we know and love. He can still do daily tasks without any problems, but he is a bit more forgetful than he used to be.
I don't think there's anything to be overly concerned about at this point. But why do you say that? There must be a reason.
Dad had a headache and he took him to the hospital for examination. The doctor prescribed him some common headache medicine, but he called me out and advised me to get further tests because my father showed signs of forgetfulness.
Can you give me the test results? What did the doctor say?
It seems Dad is in the early stages of the disease.
Oh my God, what should I do? It's at the early stages at the moment. I suppose I should pay Dad a visit soon then.
Minnie, I'm talking this to you so you're prepared, not to make you panic.
You just had a baby 3 months ago. Are you sure this is the best time to go?
I'm sure you must be overwhelmed every day caring for your newborn.
Can I not panic? You're right about me being overwhelmed. I barely have time to breathe sometimes. But I still want to check up on Dad. Aren't you even a little bit concerned about him?
As I said, he's still perfectly fine. I was hesitant to tell you about his diagnosis in the first place because I knew you would overreact like this. There's no need to worry excessively at this point. It's not an immediate crisis, so you can take a deep breath and relax. Understand?
I appreciate your reassurance. I suppose my hormones are still fluctuating after childbirth, and I tend to get overwhelmed easily. Thank you for calming my nerves. It's a blessing that you moved back closer to Dad. I feel much more at ease knowing that you can look after him promptly.
That's far too much credit to give me. Honestly, the only reason I moved back here is because I made a huge mess of things at work. It was my last desperate attempt to salvage my career. In hindsight, it would have been better if I'd moved back in with Dad when I had the chance, knowing what would eventually happen. But you know how he is. He's incredibly stubborn and wouldn't even entertain the idea for a second.
Absolutely. But having you living with him would definitely alleviate a lot of the stress. It's not as straightforward as that, though. I'm sure your wife wouldn't be too thrilled about that living arrangement, especially considering Dad's dementia diagnosis, which is only going to deteriorate over time.
Oh, no. In fact, Stella was the one who brought it up first.
Really?
Yes, Stella lost both of her parents at a young age, so she sees Dad as her own father. They actually have a great relationship.
Wow, that's incredibly thoughtful of her. I've only had the chance to meet her a few times, but you definitely hit the jackpot by finding such a wonderful woman to be your wife.
I don't know how you even pulled that off, considering your rebellious streak during your teenage years.
Don't remind me. There's no need to dredge up my dark past, just to embarrass me.
Right, I was just teasing you.
And yes, stress has always been an issue for Dad. But I think he declined your offer because he thought it would be an imposition on you and Maddie to live with him.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Because we would eventually end up burdened with the responsibility of managing all of his daily needs.
Maybe he will find himself a burden.
That too. But you know how he's been living independently ever since Mom passed away. So for him, it probably would have been a challenging transition to live with other people again. He's probably too accustomed to his own company by now. And it's not a matter of compatibility. If I were in his shoes, I would probably react similarly if my own child suggested that they live with me just to take care of me in my old age. I wouldn't agree to it lightly, especially if it involved their spouse as well.
That's surprising to hear. Is there any reason why he would refuse such a generous offer? It seems to me that it's only natural to want to take care of your own parents as they age, not just out of obligation, but out of love and respect.
I suppose it depends on the individual. While some people, like you, would be perfectly comfortable with that arrangement, others, like myself or Dad, might find it awkward or intrusive.
But you even admitted that you would feel more at ease if I moved in with Dad. That's what you want for him too, isn't it?
Yes, it would be a relief to know that Dad has someone he can depend on living under the same roof. But we can't force him to accept something he's not comfortable with. And as you mentioned, he's not in immediate need of constant supervision. When the time comes, he can always consider moving into an assisted living facility, which would be another viable option.
You're right. It's not something we need to make a decision about right now. I think things are working well as they are. So let's just keep a closer eye on things than usual. And to be honest, it hasn't seemed like anything has really changed since his diagnosis. So it's probably best not to make any drastic changes right now.
Okay, that sounds like a good plan for now. Thanks for letting me know. And for looking after Dad. Noah should be home by next month, so I should be able to visit Dad around that time.
Great. I'll keep you updated and let you know right away if anything happens in the meantime.
Sometime later. Noah!
I'm here.
Some time ago, Dad had a headache, and John took him to the doctor. The doctor said Dad was in the early stages of forgetfulness.
Oh my God, are you okay?
Oh, Noah, I almost collapsed, John said. It's just the beginning so we can be with Dad more. But Noah, there's nothing that can stop time, right? I can't help but think about what Dad will be like in the future.
It's just the early stages, right? We still have a lot of time with Dad. Science is now very developed. It is completely possible to slow down the progression of the disease. It's okay, Minnie.
John was convinced and his family came to live with his father. Even so, I still want to come take care of him. After the business trip, can you take care of the baby for me for a while? I will be back soon. When I called yesterday, I didn't see anything strange about my father.
Okay, of course. I will push the schedule back earlier so you can come to Dad sooner. Just go visit Dad. Our family will make an appointment to visit Dad one day. He probably wants to meet the baby very much. I'm so sorry I can't be with you right now. Everything will be okay, Minnie.
Noah, I miss you.
I miss you too, honey. I'll be back soon.
Half of a month later. John, just wanted to give you a heads up that I'm home now.
Great to hear. Thanks for the update. Did you have a smooth journey back?
Yes. I didn't encounter any delays or hiccups. Thankfully, the plane departed on time, and the flight itself was quite pleasant. However, our house, well, let's just say it's seen better days. But I can't really fault Noah for the state of the house, considering he's been single-handedly taking care of the baby for the past few days. So yes, the house needs a bit of tidying up, to put it mildly. But other than that, everything is fine.
A little bit of straightening up is nothing compared to everything he's managed to handle these past 3 days. I think you can give him a break for that.
I'm sure the past 3 days were quite hectic and exhausting for him. But don't forget that I handled this every day on my own. Oh, but I definitely don't blame him for this mess. I'm incredibly grateful that he was willing to watch the baby so I could travel alone, especially since it was right after he returned from his long-term business trip. And it's because of his generosity that I was able to visit Dad this time.
You're absolutely right. Having respect and consideration for each other's needs is one of the most important aspects of a successful marriage. I'll have to thank him in person as well the next time we see each other. Speaking of thanks, I wanted to thank you again for everything that you've done.
It's my responsibility, John. Next month.
Minnie? Are you present?
Hello, Stella. What occurred?
I'm very sorry, Minnie. I had the day off today, so I stayed at home with my father while John went on a business trip. I was cleaning up in the kitchen while Dad was outside with the kids. But when I arrived, I couldn't see him any longer. I can only ask for your assistance because John is on a business trip. What should I do now? I sincerely apologize for my irresponsibility.
I completely understand your concern. I would feel the same way if I were in your shoes. But right now, we need to stay calm and think clearly. What's the last time you spoke to Dad?
Dad and the kids in the yard played soccer and built dolls. That's exactly... They stated Dad said this doll is so lovely that if you give it to you, you'll probably like it a lot. Was he ever looking for you?
But we recently relocated so Noah can work more conveniently. Even yet, our former house was in a different neighborhood from Dad's.
What am I supposed to do?
Stella, we need to calm down in order to examine the problem. Ask the kids, when has Grandpa not been with them?
It's been 1 hour.
1 hour? Dad is forgetful. Perhaps he can't get to the metro in time. Why don't you go find him? 30 minutes later. What's going on? Have you spotted him?
I'm still looking, and I'm asking my pals for help.
Very good. But it's almost 2 hours. Should we contact the cops?
But I don't think the police can do anything at this point. Dad's not a child, so they probably won't even accept a missing person report for at least 48 hours. In other words, there's probably not much urgency for the authorities to take any action at this time.
I know that, but Dad's been showing signs of early dementia. You even mentioned that his condition has been deteriorating lately.
That's true, but he also left a letter explaining his intentions very clearly. So it's evident that he acted on his own volition and his dementia is not to blame for his disappearance. He was aware of his actions when he left, so it's not like he was the victim of any foul play either.
Is there a letter?
The kids just called me and they found the letter in the house. Besides, do you really think the police would prioritize a case like Dad's when there are plenty of other crimes and missing children cases that need to be solved?
I don't think so. But 2 hours have passed. The police are the only choice, aren't they?
I understand your concern, Minnie. However, we have to be realistic about the situation. The police have limited resources and must prioritize cases where there's a clear indication of danger or foul play. In Dad's case, it seems more likely that he simply decided to leave and is trying to live independently. While I understand your worries about his dementia, his letter suggests that he's mentally competent and made this decision on his own.
I know, but I can't help but feel uneasy about it. I don't like the idea of him being out there on his own, especially with his condition. I wish there was something more we could do. I can't keep waiting in such anxiety. I will go back to my old house once.
I know you care about Dad, and I do too. But we have to respect his wishes. Send photo of the letter. If he wants to live independently, we have to support his decision, even if it's not what we want. We'll keep an eye out for him and be there for him and be there for him if he needs us. But for now, we have to respect his privacy and let him make his own choices. You still have to take care of the baby. Take a deep breath and relax. I'll go to your old house to see if he's there. It is all my fault for not paying attention to Dad. Please stay home and wait for news from me.
Dad is missing. How am I supposed to stay calm?
I'm not calm. In fact, I'm as worried as you are. But you have to understand that panicking won't help the situation. We need to approach this rationally and make informed decisions. Remember, Dad left on his own accord. He wasn't coerced or abducted.
You're right. I apologize for my outburst. I know you're just as concerned as I am.
Listen, I'll continue searching for him for a while longer, but it's pitch blackout now. Visibility is extremely limited, and I doubt I'll make much progress. Tomorrow I will go to your old house and look for him. If there's no update by tomorrow, I'll contact the authorities.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. I apologize for putting all the pressure on you, but I'll be there first thing tomorrow morning.
Sure, but I don't think there's much you can do, even if you come all the way here.
Honestly, that might be true, but I still need to be there. I feel helpless being so far away. I know it's probably pointless, but I still want to be there. I feel so helpless being so far away. I will send the baby to Noah's parents to take care of. I will be traveling alone.
I understand. I'm worried about Dad too. Call me in the morning after you've booked your flight. I'll have my phone with me at all times.
Next day. I'm here? I just called Dad. Finally, he picked up the phone.
Oh, really? What did he say?
Dad says that he never wrote such a letter.
What? You can see this? The letter, right? Don't be fooled by him.
You should know that it's just because of his dementia.
He just doesn't remember. He conveniently forgot what actually happened. So, it doesn't seem like he's lying to you.
You haven't seen him how he is lately to know just how bad his memory loss has gotten, and he keeps getting worse every day.
Stella, maybe it's about time that you start telling the truth now. And actually, now that I think about it, John has been acting really strange lately.
Who, John? In what way?
Well, I'm very happy about your offer to invite Dad to come home to take care of you, but after that, I don't think your family will move back in with Dad. I never imagined John to be the type of person that would move back home to take care of an elderly parent. I wanted to give you the benefit of the doubt that perhaps John had turned over a new leaf when you first told me about your decision. But in fact, John had quite clearly stated that you were never going to come back to take care of our parents in old age when you first moved out of the house. I can't believe that I had forgotten that until now.
Maybe people change. Don't you know that? He's no longer the angry teenager that he used to be back then, and maybe he's realized the importance of taking care of them as he's gotten older.
Well, that's what I also thought at first. But that's not really the truth, is it? And if Dad's dementia was progressing as quickly as you said, then why would you and John invite him to go hiking in such a dangerous spot in the first place? It just doesn't make any sense. Stella, I'm starting to think that you're not telling me the whole truth.
I'm telling you the truth, Minnie. Dad just wanted to live independently. He left on his own accord. It's not my fault.
I'm not sure if I believe you anymore, Stella. Your story is full of holes. And I know Dad better than you think I do. He would never just leave us like that without a reason.
I don't know what else to tell you. I'm telling you the truth.
I'm going to figure out what really happened to Dad, Stella. And when I do, you're going to regret lying to me. Late afternoon.
I found Dad. He seemed lost in the woods.
Really? Lost in the forest? But the area where I used to live is very far from the forest. How long was he gone?
He said he wanted to live in the forest.
What? But why would he do such a thing?
I don't know either. I'm taking Dad to my friend's villa. I'll let him rest first. We'll come back tomorrow.
Okay, Stella.
Oh, yeah, Mom. Isn't that obvious? He knew that you were planning to distance myself from him, and he wanted to prepare himself for that.
He wanted to protect himself from someone who was no longer willing to be there for him.
What are you talking about? Have you lost your mind?
Well, maybe if you hadn't hurt him so much, he wouldn't have felt the need to take such drastic measures. You should be ashamed of yourself, Minnie.
I live far away from him and couldn't take care of him, but I couldn't just come to him. I just had a baby.
Clearly, you were only thinking of yourself. Dad deserves better than a daughter who would push him away and plot to abandon him.
But I can't.
You need to reflect on your actions and figure out how to make amends. Dad deserves an apology, and you need to earn back his trust if that's even possible at this point.
Goodbye, Minnie. I can't talk to you right now. Next. Dad, are you okay? I'm so worried about you.
It's okay, Minnie. John brought me here, then I walked around and met Stella. I don't know if anything is going on.
John took you there. Where are you and Stella?
Stella said this is her friend's villa and it's safe.
Leave. Dad, do you want to move house?
Isn't that where you guys want me to retire in my old age? Haas. But it's not my house.
No, Dad. You have a home. You can just live in your home and don't have to go anywhere. We will come and take care of you.
I don't understand what's going on.
All right, Dad. Just rest and come back to me tomorrow with Stella. Late evening.
It's so scary, Minnie. The woods where Dad disappeared are known for being dangerous. People often get lost and fall down cliffs. I assumed the worst when he disappeared.
How dare you say that? Dad told me everything. He said John left him stranded in the woods. Are you and John plotting to take over Dad's house?
That's not true. We would never do anything like that. I was worried sick about him. I searched for him all night, but I couldn't find him. I haven't told John this yet.
I don't believe you. What are you? And John? Clean it up.
That's not true. We would never do that to our own father.
I don't know what to believe. I believe Dad.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
Next day. John, how dare you dump Dad in the woods and think you'll get away with it?
What are you talking about? I just came back from work. What forest?
He's our father. He deserves better than that. How dare you do that?
I never meant to abandon him.
You're lying. You knew exactly what you were doing. You and also Stella wanted to get rid of him so you could have his inheritance all to yourself.
That's not true. I love Dad. I would never do anything to hurt him.
Then why did you push him down the cliff?
I didn't.
Yes, you did. I have proof.
I'm so sorry, Minnie. I never meant to hurt Dad. I did what I did because I believed Dad's dementia was worsening. I was trying to protect his assets and ensure a secure future for us.
Your actions towards Dad are unforgivable. Instead of remorse, you're justifying yourself with weak excuses. I'm ashamed to call you my brother. We no longer consider you part of our family.
Look, I apologized and I genuinely regret my behavior. I promise not to harm Dad again. Let me talk to him in person and make things right.
It's too late for apologies, John. You're going to have to pay for what you've done.
Please don't tell Dad. I don't want him to know what I did.
I can't promise you anything. Dad deserves to know the truth.
But what will happen to me?
That's up to Dad. He's the one who decides what happens to you now. You're delusional if you think you have any chance of getting back into Dad's good graces. He's made it crystal clear that he never wants to see you again. I can't believe I was ever stupid enough to think you had changed.
I was desperate for money and I didn't know what else to do. I tried to ask Dad for help, but he refused point blank.
This wasn't how I wanted things to end, but he left me with no other choice.
I don't understand your logic at all. We have nothing left to say to you, and we're not interested in hearing any more of your excuses.
I was so tired. Noah had to be with me for a long time. John wasn't just like that. I felt that Stella was talking very strangely, so I checked and found out. While Stella and I were worried about Dad, Stella wasn't even at home. John took advantage of that and pretended to be Stella. That's why I mistakenly blamed Stella for a few things. John needs to learn so many lessons after this event.
Harry, are you there, Harry? I have something I need to discuss with you. Please respond as soon as possible.
Sorry, but I don't have time to discuss right now. Very busy.
Busy? What do you mean? You're to leave the house. Isn't it true that you're a full-time housewife or something?
No, I've told you several times that I work from home. And before you ask, my husband and I make around the same amount of money.
First and foremost, who said I was going to ask? And two, I seriously doubt it. I mean, ain't he a manager at one of the Fortune 500 companies or something? Are you seriously claiming that you earn the same as someone with that job? If that's the case, you must be awash in cash over there, don't you? You had better be lying or something because it's true. I'm so jealous right now. Could you please share some of that with me? I'd like a weekly stipend, you know.
What do you mean? Is this related to why you messaged me in the first place?
Oh, please. I know you have more money than you can handle. Why can't I get some as well?
Maybe because we worked extremely hard to earn the money we have. I mean, I know you had that part-time job in high school, but have you ever worked since then?
That's exactly what I mean. That's why I require funds. Furthermore, my boyfriend and I want to go on a trip, and we need money to do so.
Then do what we did. Get a job, work hard, save up, and then take your trip.
Are you certain? But that's so boring. That's something I'd never do.
Are you saying that having a job is boring? I don't disagree with you, but I'm concerned about your future if that's how you envision working.
That's because I'm going to marry wealthy and never have to bother about such trivial matters.
What? Is that your intention? Just marry a wealthy person? Have you ever considered that someone so wealthy could want someone who is equally motivated to work and succeed?
What? And are you implying that I'm not that the person or something?
I know you don't have a job, and I'm very sure you never do any housework, and you're preparing food. You recall what occurred the last time you attempted to make anything for the family, don't you? After one bite, we all decided to order takeout.
You said you weren't going to bring it up. That isn't fear?
Remember that nutritious dish you tried to cook once? It was the stew into which you had just put a whole bottle of vinegar and that awful health powder. That was a classic for sure. But in any case, I think my point was that you probably don't cook much at home either.
It wasn't the entire bottle, you understand? After all, we'll just employ a maid for all of that, so problem solved.
Yes, you are quite bright. Okay, do what you want. Anyway, I have some clients to deal with, so I can't text any longer. See ya.
That's okay. I was going to come over to your house anyhow to hang out.
What? Do you mean now? Sorry for the inconvenience, but I have a couple of pals coming over tonight. Okay, let's meet up another time.
Don't worry, I don't mind. They won't disturb me at all.
That wasn't my concern. I'll be the one bothered.
I already stated that everything will be all right. I'll see you in a moment.
In the afternoon.
Stella, did you come over and drive the Ferrari parked in my driveway? I need to know right now, so please respond.
What's all the fuss about? Why are you so agitated? It's all right. My boyfriend and I simply thought it would be fun to ride it for a while.
Driving for a while?
Yep. The wind and sun are simply wonderful.
And where did you obtain the keys to that car, may I ask?
Well, while I was leaving yours, I noticed the key case sitting in a bag and just kind of helped myself.
You simply rummaged through a bag you discovered at my house?
It wasn't just any bag, it was yours. And since we're sisters, what's yours is mine, you know?
That bag wasn't mine, Stella. I don't have anything like that.
Oh, you're serious? Oh, well, I guess it doesn't really matter who had the bag. Who could possibly be concerned about such little issues when the keys to a Ferrari are there in front of you?
So you should start worrying about them now.
Anyway, my boyfriend and I wanted to act like we were on a honeymoon, so we took it. We'll return in a few days.
You took the car so you two could go on a fictitious honeymoon?
That is exactly what I stated. And this guy says he goes to Harvard, so you know he'll be okay for the rest of his life. Maybe one day we'll get married. Of course, if that were the case, we could spend our honeymoon overseas. I can see myself traveling the world with my new hubby staying in opulent hotels. Doesn't it sound dreamy? And now we get to do it in this Ferrari? I never imagined this would happen to me in 1,000 years. I guess this is the day to ask him what he thinks about, getting married.
Stop bragging about your phony honeymoon and return that car immediately.
Yuck. Calm down.
Stella, it's not a game. I'm not kidding.
Why do you continually want to ruin my fun? Why haven't you told me you have such a cool car? Why did I only discover this today?
Stella, that's not my car.
Wait, are you certain? Isn't that not your vehicle?
No, it belonged to one of my pals, who was at my house at the time you arrived.
You're not referring to that one incredibly poor person, are you?
That lady is not in the least bit poor.
So if she was truly wealthy enough to afford this car, why wasn't she wearing any costly clothes or jewelry when I was there?
Because she is the type of person who prefers to spend money on automobiles rather than clothing.
Oh, I see what you're up to. I understand you didn't want to lend me the automobile, but there's no reason to lie to me about who actually owns it.
I literally can't deal with you right now. Please return the automobile right away.
Sorry. We've already reached the freeway, and I believe it's a little late for that now.
The expressway? Where do you intend to take it?
Don't be concerned. Paul is an excellent driver. Everything will be okay.
Has he ever driven a vehicle like that before?
He claims it's his first time.
And you drove it on the highway?
I know. Isn't it amazing?
Please bring that car right now, okay?
We're okay. After all, we'll need this car to travel around on our fictitious honeymoon.
Stella, this isn't a game. I'm not kidding.
Oh, and I also borrowed your credit card.
What did you do?
Why didn't you inform me about that, too? I had no idea you had a black card. I thought they just awarded those to celebrities and other renowned individuals.
What do you mean by black card? I don't have a black card.
It's not good to keep lying to your younger sister-like way.
I'm serious.
Anyway, we'll be taking your card as well as your automobile for a short adventure. We already used the card to acquire a lot of clothes and other items for our trip. And of course, we didn't skimp on the branded items. I believe we've already spent maybe $20,000 or so.
You've already spent $20,000 on that card?
Yeah, and it doesn't appear that we've even begun to scratch the surface of what this card is capable of. Who knew a black card could be used for so much? You're persistent. I'm trying to enjoy my phony honeymoon here, so I'm going to block you until we return.
Stella, please don't.
A few hours later.
Hurry! Take out your phone. There's an emergency. I'm not kidding.
What are you looking for?
I no longer have access to your credit card. It had ceased to function. Was it a forgery?
Was the black card you stole a forgery?
Yeah, Paul and I are attempting to check into our hotel, but our credit card is not being accepted. We had them attempt multiple times, but they said the payment was not accepted. That suggests the card was a forgery, right? Oh no, what shall we do?
Stella, you won't be able to use that card because the owner has frozen it.
What? They had the card frozen?
Yes, it's that thing where you call the credit card company and ask them to halt any further purchases on that card.
I know what it means to freeze a card. However, if the card is frozen, we won't be able to check into our hotel. And the room I reserved was supposed to be one of the greatest suites on the property.
Perhaps you could make the reservation with your own money instead.
But we just have a small amount of cash right now.
I see. And if it was a hotel suite, I'm sure it was expensive. Perhaps you could just go to the bank and withdraw some money to pay the deposit?
On this vacation, I didn't bring any of my credit cards.
Wow, are you certain?
I have to because I was planning on your card instead. That is why I need you to go right now and unfreeze the card. Please.
Look, I attempted to clarify previously, but that car is not mine.
But was that a lie?
Stella, please open your eyes. Examine the card. What is the inscription on it? Is my name Henry?
But I thought I had checked it out before taking it.
Let's be honest. You can barely read at a 4th grade level, so don't act like literacy is your strong point.
Don't be so rude. I understand how to read.
Take out the card, bring it up to your face, and reread the name printed on it.
That, however, is not possible. I only glanced at it and assumed it said Harry, but it actually says Henry. And the surnames are identical. How is this possible?
Isn't that an amazing coincidence? In fact, we became friends because we have nearly same names. We joked that if we were a pair, it would be difficult to tell a support on paper.
So there. Who exactly is Henry?
Why don't you ask your guy about her?
Why would Paul recognize her?
Just ask him, please.
What the hell is going on? When I asked him about Henry, he grabbed the car keys from my grasp and bolted out the door.
15 minutes later.
Hey, Stella, did you eventually capture Paul?
Well, that is something you could say. However, the truth is that he simply crashed the Ferrari.
What exactly do you mean he crashed it?
He got carried away, pushed on the gas, and drove directly into the parking lot barrier as he was attempting to flee. The front of the automobile was dented, but Paul was unharmed.
Do you understand what you just did?
What's the big deal about it? I simply do not understand you. Just take it to the mechanic, right? You're always freaking out about the smallest things. It drives me insane. Like an elder sibling, but you have to allow me make mistakes now and again.
I'm pleased your boyfriend is fine, okay? But this isn't a minor blunder. Furthermore, have you determined why your boyfriend panicked and attempted to flee when you confronted him about Henry?
Oh, actually, I forgot about that now that you mention it. But, in any case, couldn't you just tell me what's going on?
Henry's younger brother's name is Paul.
What's your name? That's something I had no idea about.
Do you recall that one time? I'm not sure when, but there was this dinner party I was going to that you weren't invited to but sneaked in anyway. So, isn't that where you initially met Paul?
What does that have to do with anything? Wait, was that Paul's sister's house?
Yes, it was. Anyway, you might have heard from Paul, but Henry and him have an odd relationship. That's why he probably freaked out when you told him the cards you just borrowed belonged to his elder sister, Henry.
That implies it's the automobile? Is it also Henry's?
That's exactly what I've been trying to tell you. She owns both the car and the card.
Can you repeat everything?
Okay, I'll try to explain everything from the beginning once more. I didn't own the Ferrari you were driving or the black credit card you were using. Henry is the owner of everything I just mentioned.
Wait, so then, her own younger brother has no idea what kind of car she drives?
She only got the car approximately 3 days ago. I doubt Paul even realized she possessed it in the first place. That's what Henry is saying right now.
Is Henry present?
Yep.
Is she even mad?
In fact, I would describe her as insane. And after using her card to buy $20,000 worth of garbage, not to mention the expenses you'll have to pay to send the car to a specialist who works with foreign cars, you're definitely looking at least $100,000 in damages.
$100,000?
And that is the most you might owe at the end of this. That is why Henry has been enraged since this morning. Who knows what she'll do to you both when you return? She's had a very scary expression on her face all day, and it's starting to creep me out. I'd be worried.
Is it that bad?
Yes, it appears so. And there's one more thing.
After all that, what else could you possibly want?
We received a call from the hotel where you were attempting to check in.
You got a call from the hotel? What did they want to discuss?
Henry's husband, on the other hand, runs a resort company. And because he's close to the hotel's owner, he got a call right away when someone using his wife's card arrived up.
Wait, what are you trying to say? What do you intend to say next?
I'm on my way. Anyway, I think the cops turned up to the hotel to question Henry's husband about who this guy with his wife's card was, and if they intended to take legal action. I mean, I won't lie. She's hardly the kind of lady you want as an adversary. Anyway, I've got to go. See you later.
After that, Stella and Paul returned home looking like dead men walking after dealing with a wrecked automobile. Henry was, of course, waiting for them in a swiveling chair we had so she could whirl around and greet them spectacularly. As the two of them knelt to ask her forgiveness, Henry removed an envelope from her breast pocket and handed it to them. A bill for $70,000 was found inside. There were, of course, the items purchased with her stolen card, as well as the estimated cost of the Ferrari repairs. However, near the end of the list were the repairs to the hotel parking lot fence, which was destroyed in the accident. Henry told them they should be grateful she didn't call the cops on them. Stella is currently employed at one of Henry's husband's resorts. Meanwhile, Paul had to drop out of college and find work at a company run by Henry's acquaintance. She made sure to wish them both luck in repaying every penny they owed. She still visits the two of them on a regular basis. I believe she derives some sick satisfaction from seeing them both labor so hard for what they did to her.
Isn't this an odd coincidence? I never imagined we'd be reunited like this. I can't believe you're our subcontractor's account manager.
You're absolutely correct. This isn't the kind of reunion I was hoping for either.
So I'm not surprised you work for us. It's a fantastic opportunity for someone like you.
Nothing has changed in the last 10 years. As far as I can tell, you're still as obnoxious as you were in high school. I was taken aback to meet face to face with you in this manner, particularly after all of this time. How are you?
I'm not going to respond to that. It's none of your concern. Anyway, why don't you go get me some lunch?
Okay, I was just being polite, but there's no need for you to respond to my query. But I don't see why I should have to go out and buy you lunch.
What? Don't you realize you're in no position to respond to me in that manner? Or perhaps you should return to kindergarten because you appear to have forgotten how to obey orders? You can relearn how to listen to authority figures.
We haven't seen each other in 10 years, but you haven't changed at all. You may even be more immature now than you were in high school.
No, don't you understand? I was just attempting to accommodate your intelligence level, which is certainly significantly lower than mine. Anyway, hurry along, bring me some food before my break ends. Otherwise, you risk losing our company's contract. Are you certain that is what you want? How are you going to explain to your manager that this contract fell through because of you? I can already see the outcome. You'll most likely wind up on your knees, pleading for his pardon. It's a large deal, so it can't be written off that quickly.
Huh. I'm not sure what kind of fancy circumstance you're imagining, but I hope you recognize it's just a fiction. Do you honestly believe it's okay to cancel a contract over a missed lunch? That is incredibly unprofessional, if not ludicrous.
What's the big deal about that? I'm an extremely successful entrepreneur. Unlike you, I truly contribute to the success of my company, and my position is highly respected here.
That does not appear to be anything a professional business person would say.
I'll simply inform my management that it was entirely your fault that we terminated the contract, and that it will not be my responsibility to settle. Besides, I know they'll always have my back since they recognize how vital I am to this company. I'll simply inform them that we must terminate your contract due to your disrespectful attitude. Is that what you really want?
I never stated anything like that. Please don't try to put words in my mouth.
Okay, anything. Anyway, it's still difficult to conceive we'd wind up doing business like this, don't you think? But in a way, it's amusing because you can still take my orders. It must be your fate to be the errand girl forever. Don't worry, I'll make sure to send you lots of work, so get ready to work hard.
What do you mean? I'm not here to do your errands. This isn't high school. I don't believe you should speak to me as if we were still in school. We're no longer classmates, but working professionals. When we interact about business, you should at the very least be courteous.
I can't believe you have the audacity to respond to me in that way. As I already stated, you are nothing more than an errand girl to me, so don't try to act inappropriately. Why don't you think about your situation more thoroughly before opening your mouth?
This discussion is really going nowhere. The longer we continue on like this, the more fatigued I become. I already have a lot on my plate, trying to make amends for your mistake.
Oh, you're referring to the mistake I purposefully made?
What exactly do you mean by this?
I was only trying to help you by giving you something to work on. That's why, every now and then, I'll make a deliberate mistake for you to repair.
That is totally needless. Why would you consider of doing such extra work?
Anyway, you arrived yesterday with your predecessor, correct?
Was there an issue with that?
That gorgeous man. He was promoted to general manager, right? So you'll be taking over as account manager from now on, correct?
That's correct, but how can you know so much? It's as if you were present when I made the news.
Oh, no. That isn't the case. My data comes from a reliable source. My guy is the handsome man who used to be in charge of this contract.
What?
He's my man, however. At our meeting yesterday, you seemed unduly friendly with him. I hope you're not playing any silly games with me. You should avoid him because he's my man.
I wasn't attempting to steal him from you in any way. That's how he and I have always been with each other.
What's the point? Are you attempting to imply that you are closer to him than I am?
So in terms of physical proximity, I suppose I'm closer to him than everyone else in the office.
You can't make a move on him just because you work in the same office and get along. He and I are soulmates who love one another. We even went out to celebrate our anniversary last night.
That's fantastic, but none of that matters right now.
Exactly. All you have to do is wait for my commands and follow them.
As I previously stated, we are no longer in high school, and I have no intention of complying with any of your absurd rules, especially considering you are purposefully harming my work effectiveness.
What a coincidence that we were conversing right now. I'm drinking with several buddies, but we've just run out of alcohol. Can you go to the liquor store and get it for me?
Are you even paying attention to what I'm saying? I just told you I wasn't going to be your personal servant.
Oh, and did I mention how much fun my date last night was?
That's great.
But what about you? You're just dull and monotonous, and you're just used at work for running errands. I'm guessing you've never had a lover and will probably spend the rest of your life alone?
That's really none of your concern. So please keep your hands off my personal affairs, okay?
And moreover, I'm sure you're not really excellent at your work, so you don't have much going for you, do you?
I'd appreciate it if you could quit making assumptions about me, because you're absolutely wrong. So if there's nothing more to talk, I'd want to get started right away.
Sure thing. You don't have any plans for tonight or anything. I'd be astonished if you were going out. Oh, and just so you know, I'm one of the top employees in this workplace, and it's incredibly fulfilling to be creating work that is constantly praised.
I don't have time to hear you brag about yourself.
Oh, and I'm so astute that I've taken thorough notes on our internal matters so that I may refer to them at any time.
Isn't that a breach of privacy? What kind of insider knowledge are you referring to?
You know, like the specifics of our product development. I can't believe I'm the one who had this thinking, but I'm sure knowing this kind of information will come in good at some point. So, don't you believe it's best to take these actions early on?
Isn't that the kind of information that should be kept private? And what do you mean by it being useful one day? What do you intend to do with that data? Are you going to give it to one of your competitors?
You caught on quickly, especially for an errand girl.
Do you realize that leaking confidential information is a crime?
Is it a crime? You're simply exaggerating? I have yet to do anything with the information. I'm just getting everything ready for the perfect time. No one will ever find out what I'm up to.
Not so sure. Someone will eventually find out. I know you told your lover last night about your plan to sell firm secrets over dinner. Your boyfriend is also my manager.
Huh. But how could he know about what we were talking about?
Are you certain you want to share that kind of information with someone outside your company? Don't you believe that puts you in a poor situation?
Oh, please keep quiet. You have no idea what you're on about. Are you even aware of what you have? It isn't your place to lecture me on this.
So let me pose the same question to you. Are you aware of the massive error you've already committed? What you're attempting to do, Nessa, is clearly illegal.
Don't overthink it. Just wait for your next duty like the good errand girl you are.
That's enough. Don't you understand the difference between what is and isn't suitable to say? Or do you still think like a high schooler? You haven't matured one bit in all these years, have you?
I simply thought that would be a good topic for a discussion. That's why I brought it up last night with my boyfriend. What's wrong with two wealthy business people having an interesting dinner conversation? I wish I hadn't told you about it. Your statements have absolutely depressed me. I'm still waiting for the extra beverages I requested earlier. How long must I wait? You'd best buy me the most expensive bottle of wine you have to compensate for this. What a fantastic idea. This time, I'll let you off the hook if you bring me the greatest wine you can find. Oh, and if you want to disregard my orders, you can cancel our contract.
It appears that you are already having difficulty distinguishing between business and personal problems. Perhaps you drank too much? Let me tell you something that will wake you up faster than a bucket of ice-cold water.
What do you mean?
In fact, my fiancé is your company's CO.
Are you kidding me? What do you mean?
I am engaged to your company's CEO. And he's right next to me right now because we were just talking about wedding arrangements.
I'm not sure what you're referring to. Where do you get these insane ideas?
And in fact, the man you were out with last night is my elder brother.
What? What?
As you are aware, my brother handled the contract with your company for several years prior to me. He collaborated extensively with your CO, and they became excellent friends over time. And he was the one who introduced me to my current fiancé, so we're both grateful to my brother.
Are you sure? Is my lover your brother?
Yes. And it sounded like you two were really getting along these days. At the very least, my brother appeared to be serious about your relationship. I texted him only to inquire about what you said about me. He has confirmed everything, and he is also really disappointed in you.
What? That's all made up by you? Stop attempting to play me just to get back at me for taking advantage of you. He cannot possibly be your brother. You don't have the same surname.
You accuse me of being overly friendly with my manager during our meeting yesterday, but this is because he is my biological brother. That's how we always make fun of each other. And while we have different last names because we grew up separately following our parents' divorce, we are genetically related siblings.
Oh, I see. You're simply envious that his devotion was no longer directed at you. Your attachment to him is simply out of control.
I'm not envious, and I have no intention of interfering with his personal relationships. I'm fine as long as my brother is happy, whatever his partner may be. But it appears that my brother no longer trusts you as a result of your recent behavior and what you told him.
Does he not believe me? But why is that?
Clearly, because you attempted to sell company secrets to a third party, which is completely inappropriate as a working professional. You should be aware that breaking a company's privacy policies is a crime and can result in criminal charges. However, you were essentially bragging about what you intended to do. Are you really so naive? Did you expect your actions to go unpunished?
No, just take it easy for a moment. Obviously, I was joking about it all. Can't you accept a simple joke?
A joke? What aspect of your plan were you kidding about? My brother and I were both certain that you intended to carry out your plan. You even have extensive notes regarding your company's internal problems, which you showed my brother, as you mentioned. He may be your lover, but he does not work for the same company as you. It's also prohibited to disclose such information with an outsider. You're fortunate that my brother is a competent businessman. It would be a disaster for your firm if that kind of information fell into the hands of the wrong person.
Tiana, please, just relax. Nothing about our company was disclosed and everything is good.
But it isn't the point. It makes no sense to continue putting your company's reputation at jeopardy.
And anyway, we used to joke and goof about like that all the time. You already know not to take me seriously when I say things like that. I had no idea you were so prejudiced. So, you're going to tell your brother that this is all a prank and clear up the confusion for me, right?
It's too late to change anything. There's a time and a place for jokes like that, but it is not meant to be used in professional situations like this. You know I don't like to play games, and I've loathed your sense of humor since we were in high school. You may have been able to order me around back then, but I'm no longer the timid young lady I once was.
There's no need to get so worked up over this. Everything that happened in high school was a joke.
Is this just a joke? It didn't appear that way to the victim of your so-called joke. Whatever happened back then is over, but even as working professionals, you were still trying to get me to run errands for you, weren't you? When you threatened to cancel our contract, you didn't appear to be joking.
That was all a misunderstanding.
In any case, both my brother and your CO are well aware of the situation. My fiancé has just received a call from my brother, and you can probably guess what the call was about.
Wait! So, my CEO is aware of what I was attempting to accomplish? What do I do now? Isn't this terrible for me?
He stated that he will meet with you directly to discuss the types of sanctions that will be imposed on you.
No, you can't treat me like this.
Is it civility that you asked me to bring you a bottle of pricey wine? That will also be reported.
What's the matter with you? Can't you take a joke once in a while? It was never my goal for you to pay for that wine. It just came out that way out of habit. We've known each other since high school, so I figured we could at least communicate.
Do you mean your practice of bullying me into doing your errands? So you're still attempting to bully me as adults, just as you did in high school? Is that your explanation?
I had no idea you were engaged to our CO. I had absolutely no idea. And it had been a year since we last saw one other, so I was pleasantly delighted to see you again. I suppose you could say I was relieved to see a familiar face, but I got a little carried away.
You may make all the justifications you want, but it's a little late.
Oh, no. Please, do not mention that. I'm sorry for everything I've ever said or done to you. I'll also apologize to our CEO.
I agree that apologizing to us is the bare minimum. It does not, however, change the fact that you have committed a crime. Isn't it true that you told a third party about company secrets and boasted about obtaining private documents?
I only showed them to my boyfriend because I trusted him to keep them a secret. It was never my aim to hurt anyone. I was merely trying to spice up our chat. More importantly, I didn't want to conceal any secrets from my husband.
Why don't you just quit making up excuses? It appears that the first error you made was informing my brother about your plan. In case you didn't know, he's a highly righteous person who is harsh on individuals who don't accept responsibility for their acts.
Oh my goodness! This is not possible. He just messaged me that he wants to break up. I thought we'd get married, but now everything's wrecked. I hope you realize it's all your fault. You should have stayed quiet and carry out my directions. Otherwise, none of this would have occurred.
What's the point? You want to blame me for your mistakes now? Nessa, you acted at your own discretion, and I hope you are aware that what you have done is punishable by law. If you have the time to blame someone else, why not just accept your mistakes and strive to be a better version of yourself?
Okay, I'm sorry. I deeply regret what I've done now, but no harm has been done. Can we simply forget that this ever happened?
You won't be able to call yourself a valuable employee any longer, it appears. I'm sure you'll get fired for what you've done, so good luck finding a new job.
No, I will never go through the job search process again. After so many fruitless interviews, I was finally able to secure this job in a top corporation, and I've worked so hard to earn my position here. There's no problem because I didn't actually divulge any of the details, is there?
You don't appear to understand what the word company secrets means. Perhaps you should revisit your new employee training material and reacquaint yourself with the corporate policies. Oh, but you're not going to have that job anymore, so I guess it'd be a waste of time.
I can't possibly lose this job. I sincerely apologize for what I've done. Please, please, let me keep this job.
I'm not sure why you're constantly apologizing to me. And it's a bad you're getting a 1-2 punch by losing both your job and your partner.
I don't want to end our relationship because of this. Can't you at least try to persuade your brother to reconsider his decision? I beg of you. You are the only person who can help us right now. And who knows, maybe we'll become sisters one day.
Oh, please. That is the furthest thing from my mind.
What? But I thought we were close.
Is that your opinion? Oh, and I've already informed my brother about how you treated me in high school.
Why would you do such a thing? If he finds out, he'll be extremely disappointed in me.
He was already turned off by your actions at dinner last night, but believe me when I say he's completely turned off now. Isn't that unfortunate? Especially since things were going so well between you and my brother. I'm so pleased this all came up before you and my brother were married. I know I wished you success in your job search, but good luck in your search for a new husband as well. You don't have anything to say in reply? I suppose you've exhausted your objections. Or, to put it another way, there's nothing you can say to counter these claims. It took you a long time, but I suppose you're finally ready to admit defeat.
After that, as expected, Nessa was summoned to her manager's office first thing the next morning, where she was interrogated extensively about what had occurred. Although no information was actually disclosed, it was clear that she intended to. Because of Tiana's brother's allegation, as well as the extensive notes containing company secrets that she had in hand, it didn't take long for me to decide that she should be fired immediately. Unable to accept her penalty, she marched into the CO's office to talk with him personally. She apologized repeatedly on her knees, but it was in vain. Nessa was unaware of this, but her CEO was well aware of the manner she bullied Tiana in high school. Unable to forgive anyone who had injured his girlfriend in the past or present, he completely disregarded her for the entire 30 minutes she was in his office. Nessa's lover, who also happened to be Tiana's older brother, dumped her right away, with no regrets. Nessa was absolutely upset after losing her job and lover all at once, and she had no one to rely on. She appears to be desperately hunting for a new career right now, taking any and all places that will allow her to interview. Hopefully, she'll be able to find work soon, or she won't be able to pay the following month's rent on time. If she had only considered the repercussions before behaving so rashly. But what's done is done, and it's too late to make amends.
Hey, Julia. How are you doing? What's your plan for this weekend?
Hi. I'm good, Eva. I don't have that much planned for this weekend. The only thing I have planned is to go and get coffee with a couple of friends.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. Would it be okay if I joined you guys?
Wait, what?
I don't have any plans for this weekend. It would be really boring if I stayed home doing nothing all weekend. That's why I'd love to get coffee with you guys.
Well, I guess that would be fine with us. You can come if you really want, though. But I don't think you paid for yourself last time you came out to eat with us. We had to pay for you instead. I feel like this happens pretty often with you. You never seem to bring any money with you. Don't you think that's weird?
I'm sorry about that. I'm sure that I would remember to bring my money. Especially I was invited from the very first place. The last time I went out to eat with you guys was very last minute. That's why I thought one of you guys would be willing to treat me to dinner.
I don't really understand your logic.
What logic?
Why would one of us have to pay for you just because you decided to come last minute? You should pay for the food and drinks that you order. Isn't that a pretty obvious thing to do?
You're being pretty annoying about this. Are you trying to say that what I did was wrong?
I'm just saying that you should pay for yourself if you're coming out with us.
All right, whatever. Where are we planning to go this weekend? Would you be able to come and pick me up?
You're asking me to pick you up again? You have your own car, right? Why don't you just drive yourself? And if you don't want to drive, you can just ask your husband for a lift. I believe it would be nice if you could just get to the cafe yourself. Your house is in the opposite direction for me. I don't want to have to take a huge detour to pick you up.
What? Why are you being like this? I think it would be more fun if we went together. I mean, we can have so many conversations on the way.
It's only like a 30-minute drive to the cafe. Please just drive yourself. It would take me an extra 20 minutes if I came to pick you up.
Hey, Julia. It's only an extra 20 minutes. I don't understand why you're being so difficult. You really are so selfish.
I don't understand why you won't just drive yourself. I literally don't get it.
Well, to tell you the truth, I don't want to use my car because it would cost me money.
Really? That's the reason you don't want to drive?
I'd have to pay for gas and parking if I drove myself. I don't want to waste my money like that. That's why I'm asking you to come and pick me up. It's only a small detour for you. I really don't understand why you're being so hesitant to come and pick me up. It'll be like a mini road trip.
Sorry, Eva. But I don't want to take a detour. I also want to go straight home after the gathering. I'm asking my husband to look after the children, so I don't want to leave him waiting for too long.
Listen, Julia. I don't care. I've decided that you're going to come and pick me up. Thanks so much. Tell me once you guys decide on the time.
Are you for real? Would you please listen to what I'm saying?
I'll make sure that I'm prepared this time. I'll hope not to forget my purse.
Hope? You'd better not.
And you'd better come and pick me up.
Okay, fine. I'll come and pick you up. But don't assume that I'll come and pick you up every single time. This is the last time I do that for you.
All right, whatever. I'll try not to ask you for a lift in the future. Bye, see you then. Can't wait to see you guys.
Eva. I've had enough of you. I'm really so tired of waiting. When are you going to pay me back?
What are you talking about, Eva? It's 8 a.m. Don't you think it's so early?
Wow, you still can sleep so well. Don't you forget to pay my money back? It's not just me. All of our friends are wondering when you're going to start paying us back. You always borrow money from one of us when we go out to eat out. You always say that you'll pay us back. But ironically, none of us have received any money back from you.
Oh, so that's why you wake me up at this time? I'll pay you all back the next time my husband gets his paycheck.
If this continues, we're not going to invite you out with us anymore.
Stop being so dramatic. Anyway, where are you guys planning to go next?
Are you listening to anything that I just said to you?
I heard that Lisa was planning a short vacation with the group. She didn't tell me the details of the trip when I asked. I don't understand why she didn't tell me anything.
I think it's pretty obvious why she didn't tell you.
Where are you guys planning to go for the short vacation? Just tell me. Don't be so selfish.
Well, if you ask. We're planning to go to Paris for a few days.
What? You guys are planning on going abroad? I'm surprised to hear that.
We've been planning this for a while.
Really? But why haven't any of you invited me? I'm planning to go either way.
Wait, what? Why are you sounding surprised?
Of course, I'm going to go. I'm not going to forgive you guys if you leave me out of this trip.
I'm sorry, but you can't come. We've already made all the reservations and paid for it all. It won't be possible for you to come with us this time.
Okay, fine. I'll meet you guys in Paris.
What? Are you sure you can get there by yourself? The flight there is actually pretty long from the US.
It'll be fine. I've been abroad many times before. Would you be able to make an extra reservation for the hotel?
We booked the hotel with a package deal including the flight. I'm not sure if we can add you just for the hotel reservation.
But could you send me the details of the trip? I need to know which flight you guys are getting on. I am definitely going with you guys on this trip.
Are you serious about this? I thought you didn't have the money to pay us all back right now. So where are you planning to get the money to go on a trip abroad?
I can deal with that. It's none of your business. Anyway, just make sure that you send me the details. I'm so excited for this trip. Can't wait for this.
All right, I'll send you the details for this trip later. We're still planning out this trip. So nothing is confirmed. All our reservations can still be cancelled. We all have children, so Lisa booked cancelable reservations just in case of emergencies. Even if you come, you won't be able to come with us for all the activities, by the way. Are you really sure that you still want to be coming? You can always come with us on future trips.
Oh, come on, Julia. I have no idea what you're suggesting. Just send me the trip details. I'll book my flight ticket myself. And all I need you to do is book myself a room at the same hotel as yours. Actually, I guess I can just sleep with you in your hotel room.
I'm not sure if the hotel would allow you to do that. I'll send you the trip details if you're really serious about this. Also, let me tell you this one more time. This trip isn't 100% confirmed yet.
I am looking forward to it so much. I'm going to start packing for the trip already, by the way. And I need you to pay for my hotel reservation.
I am definitely not going to be paying for your hotel. I also don't know if you're even going to be able to book the same hotel as ours. It might be full already. If you're serious about joining us, you're going to have to reserve everything yourself. Don't depend on us to do it for you.
You always say that, Julia. I know that you're going to make the reservations for me. I have to go now, so make sure that you send me the details. Julia. Did you read the message I sent you? I've been trying to get in contact with you from yesterday. I just arrived.
Oh, Eva. I'm quite busy these days. I'm sorry that I didn't get back to you. You just said you just arrived? Where did you go?
You should still reply to me even if you're busy. Are you guys at the hotel already? Would you come and pick me up?
What are you talking about?
Stop trying to act like you don't know. I thought that you guys were going to come and pick me up.
But pick you up from where? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Why don't you understand me? Are you out of our mind or something?
I'm completely lost.
I'm telling you that I just arrived at the airport in Paris. I am at Terminal S. When are you going to come and pick me up?
Wait, what?
Just answer my question. Hurry up so I can meet up with you guys. I haven't been to Paris before, so I'm little scared.
Why are you there?
What?
I mean, what do you go to Paris for? We canceled our trip. So I won't be able to come and pick you up. What are you doing in Paris?
Stop making jokes like that. It's not fun at all, Julia. Did you enough with the jokes? Hurry up and come pick me up.
That's not going to be possible. None of us are in Paris.
I don't get it. So where are you guys then?
We're all still back home. Lisa had something important this morning, so he canceled our Paris trip. We decided that we would just go to Los Angeles instead. We're planning to leave this afternoon.
What? You guys are going to Los Angeles instead?
Yeah. We all just met up right now. We're going to drive there together.
I don't understand anything. This is some kind of prank, right? Please just come and get me from the airport.
This isn't a prank at all. Everything that I just told you is the truth. We decided that we would take our families with us as well. Our 3 families are all heading to Los Angeles right now. The children seem to be very happy to be taking a short vacation like this.
You should have told me that you guys canceled the Paris trip. I don't understand why you didn't tell me.
Why should I have told you? We didn't invite you on the trip in the first place. I didn't even know that you had actually booked a flight ticket there either. You probably should have told one of us directly if you really intended on coming with us.
I thought I told you that I was coming.
Don't you remember what I told you? I told you that nothing was confirmed yet. You didn't listen to me at all. I can't believe that you decided to book a flight ticket after I warned you about it so many times. It's actually kind of funny. How dumb you are.
So you're telling me this really isn't a joke? Am I really here all by myself and you guys are all still back in the U.S?
Yeah, that's the current situation. Do you want me to send you a photo for proof?
Okay, I believe you. But what am I supposed to do now? That's the first time I've been to Paris. I have no idea where any of the hotels are either.
I don't know why you're telling me this. I won't be able to help. Did you even book a hotel for yourself to stay?
Wait, what? Didn't you reserve the hotel for me?
Why are you asking me that? I thought I told you very clearly that I wouldn't be booking a hotel room for you. Didn't you listen to what I said?
Why are you being so mean to me? Please just help me out. I'm getting really worried now. Please just come and pick me up from the airport.
I'm not being mean to you at all. I'm just telling you the reality of the situation you're currently in. I'm kind of surprised you even managed to get to Paris by yourself. You paid for the flight ticket yourself, right?
I secretly use my husband's credit card. And he doesn't know about it. I was planning to ask you for the money for my flight ticket anyway.
I'm just going to pretend that I didn't hear that. If you managed to book the flight yourself, you should have been able to book the hotel room yourself. I thought I sent you all the details for the trip.
Well, that's because I thought that you were going to book the hotel room for me.
I told you that I wouldn't do that. You were only asking me to book the hotel because you didn't want to pay for it yourself, right?
Well, that's one of the reasons why.
Your intentions are so obvious these days. All of us are tired of you borrowing money from us. You probably have no intention of paying us back anyway. Don't think that we're going to let you get away with this. You're going to have to pay us all back the full amount you stole from us.
I didn't steal. I'm your friend, so I was just borrowing a little bit of money. It's not big deal.
The total amount of money that you've borrowed from all of us is very large. It's not an amount that can be ignored anymore. We're not going to wait any longer.
Okay, I'm really sorry about that. I promise that I'll pay you all back eventually. Would you please just help me get out of the situation? I have no idea what to do. I don't even have a place to stay. I don't have any idea how to leave this airport either. And of course, I don't speak French.
Well, I'm sure people will understand you even if you speak in English. Go and ask one of the airport workers for help. This has nothing to do with me. I also want to ask you to avoid hanging out with us in the future. All our other friends don't really like you either. I would advise you to distance yourself from everyone for a while.
Is that really true? I thought I was popular and everyone liked me.
Huh? You must be out of your mind. I want you to pay us all back as soon as you come back home. That's it!
Wait, Julia. Hey, Julia.
After that, Eva tried to call me multiple times to ask for some help, but I didn't want to pick up the phone. I wanted to focus on the vacation and enjoy precious time with friends. Eva was unable to even leave the airport. She couldn't ask anybody else for help. Then she decided to sleep at the airport and went back home the very next day. Her husband also found out that she had used his credit card to book the flight tickets, so he got very mad at her. She had learned a big lesson. We all felt happy after getting rid of Eva.